You're making content regularly, but you're not getting anywhere with YouTube. And the reason isn't that you're doing too little or too much, but the reason is that you're doing it wrong. So in this video, I'll explain how to build your content in a way that makes you more famous and gets you great results on YouTube. My name is Alex. I'm a YouTube producer. I've been doing YouTube for over 10 years, and in that time, I've gained my clients over 1.5 million subscribers and 150 million views through organic traffic without using paid ads. If you watch this video to the end, you'll understand how to build your content correctly and get views and clients from your videos, instead of just making content that drains your strength, your energy, and wastes your time. So first of all, you need to choose a niche that you can stick with for a long time. Of course, it's easiest for an expert who already understands what they do. For example, a psychologist or a nutritionist. Here the niche is already clear, and you should move within that niche, within that framework. Because if you decide to make content about nutrition, but then you think it's interesting to make a video on another topic like cars, you must understand that YouTube won't show your video to your target audience because it knows your content should interest people who want to see a cooking show and they aren't interested in cars. So YouTube won't understand who to show your content to, and you won't be able to achieve success. So the first thing you need to understand is to answer a few questions for yourself. Who are you? Who are you for? And how is my content useful? I call this developing your brand positioning on YouTube. Actually, it's a foundation that can be created in 1 hour. And it's not about what you want to film, but what exactly people in your niche want to get from you. And I always recommend starting with YouTube, because YouTube is actually the most profitable platform to create content on. YouTube is the most popular site after Google. When a person, for example, wants to get some information, they type a question into Google, and on Google, your video can appear first instead of websites. And YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world, where people also look for useful information. At this point, you tell me, okay, I'm ready to start, but with what? I just don't understand what I need to do at the very beginning. And at the very start, besides positioning, you need to select the right topics for your videos. You need to pull up 10 or 15 of your competitors. And not to copy their content, but to study what your audience has already watched, what they want to watch, and to study your competitors in order to do it better. Of course, sometimes you can copy a competitor's content, but you don't necessarily have to do it exactly. You can do it in a completely different format and it will work very effectively and well. Next is a 100% win-win option. This is where you open VidIQ, TubeBuddy, or Google Trends, and there you can see exactly what people want to watch in your niche, what they type in search, and how they search for your topics, just to understand what I need to film right now to hit that core when people are looking for this information. One of the least obvious methods is when you go to Google and start typing a question about your topic, and it immediately shows you a long list of similar topics or questions that people are searching for and asking. You can use this, and if you make content on one of these questions, you'll 100% get views. But that's not all yet. When you visit competitors' channels, you can go and read the comments, and there are 100% many repeating questions or requests that people want to see more of. And you can be the first one to make content on that topic. And if people write about it in the comments, it's their pain point. You've already figured out how to find topics. What's the next step I need to take to become more well-known, more popular, and earn from my YouTube channel? We need to develop a content funnel together. It's divided into just 4 stages, and they aren't very difficult. Because when we choose a topic, we have to understand which topic will bring us new subscribers and which topic will generate sales for us. In terms of percentage, it will still be very different. The first stage of our funnel is topics that will generate new subscribers for us. And I call this audience pain points. And these are topics that can hook even a random viewer. This is when you take something already known and adapt it to your niche. And this encourages a person to click, to press on your video, because even an average viewer will just be curious about what it is. After we've made this kind of content, we narrow our audience a bit, and the next stage of our funnel is the target audience's pain points. At this stage, topics that start with questions like how, what, how much it costs, how long it will take me, and so on, work very well. All these questions spark interest and will gather an audience for you that is more interested in your topic. And here we narrow our funnel even further and start the next stage, which is positioning. Here we should use our company or our expertise. We have to demonstrate that we are the best, but not in plain text, but through a demonstration of experience. If it's the car business, topics where we show the backstage, how repairs happen or something like that will work great. After we've already demonstrated our experience, we have to narrow down to the last stage of our funnel, which will lead people to the sale of your services. These are reviews, honest, unscripted, and most importantly, they can even be negative. We had a client who deals with cars, and we asked one of his customers to do a review. And this customer was dissatisfied with the services, and the review turned out negative. Our client said, "I don't want to publish a negative review because it will lead to me simply not selling my services." And we said, "Let's now record how the situation looked from our side." And when we saw during editing that the customer's review didn't depend on whether the services were provided well or not, but his review depended solely on the fact that he just didn't like this car. But the company did everything right. So usually the reviews you see aren't very relevant to what you might think about yourself. And negativity can work really well, because only after this video did our client get 5 sales for his services. Well, we've figured out how to find a topic for your video. We've figured out how to structure these topics correctly in order to get clients later. Now let's talk about the next stage. You have to understand that broad topics mean high reach and fewer sales, while targeted topics mean lower reach but more sales. And it's only going to work this way. In my experience, there's a great percentage ratio when we create content like this. 50% is audience pain points, 20% is target audience pain points, 20% is positioning, and 10% is reviews. Only with this kind of plan will your content work for you. Before I move on to our main part, I want to tell you that I've been producing YouTube channels for 10 years now, and my team can build a strategy for you, write scripts, do high quality editing, and your business will get clients because we track results and don't just focus on views or just on subscribers. We focus on how many people we were able to bring to your product using YouTube. So if you want to grow on YouTube, if you want to make your business successful using YouTube, the link to my LinkedIn will be in the description below this video. An extremely important topic is how to find formats for your videos. Because yes, we have a topic, but this one topic can be packaged as a podcast, as an interview, or as various reviews. Actually, the answer to this question is very simple. You have to be your target audience. You have to understand what your people want to watch and what formats interest them. For example, in the automotive niche, if you just make a podcast, nobody will be interested in it. But if you go to a garage and start tinkering with a car, that will be very cool content. So formats here are chosen specifically for what will trigger the greatest desire in your clients to click on this video and watch it to the end. These are the kinds of formats that will work the best. And of course, how do you get the absolute most reach on your videos? It's by creating a content factory. My team and I are actually developing these content factories, where YouTube is the core of the content, and with the help of the right scripts, we cut this content into short videos, posting them on Shorts, TikTok, Instagram, and LinkedIn. After that, people go to your YouTube channel and can see more of your content because reach on different platforms demonstrates your presence across all of these social networks. Because we all want individuality. We all want to differentiate ourselves from our competitors. And the best way to stand out from our competitors is precisely to create content that is based on your own experience. And here I want to tell you about the biggest mistake that a huge number of experts, businesses, and bloggers make when they are just starting their YouTube channel. They think, I'll invest in a huge number of cool cameras now, I'll make a great visual, and then it leads to the fact that after a month, the money just runs out. And here you have to understand that a perfect picture shot on a super mega camera will work much worse if the information in that video is of a very low quality. So first of all, you need to learn how to speak correctly on camera and how to structure your thoughts in the right way. But high quality sound is a different story. Good audio is a must if you want people to actually listen to your video. Because people often watch YouTube at the most random times, like when they're washing dishes or sitting on the toilet, so they're listening to YouTube, not watching it. You'll find even more useful info on my channel, so check it out, watch, and be sure to leave a comment on what topic I should cover next.